Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And Kinobody, who said just a couple weeks ago that he was stronger than me. I shouldn't be jealous of the fact that he's stronger than me. Deadlifted 400 pounds. 400 pounds was it? For 2 reps for the first time. Let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing. Work on scaling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And yes, I'm going to address relative strength too, because a lot of people want to get hung up on that. They were commenting about that also, you got more muscle than him, so you have to scale it to body weight. Because having more muscle than someone means you're not stronger than them, right? That's how it works. So if you lift more weights because you have more muscle mass than someone else, you're not really stronger than them. It's not a fair comparison. You guys do know weight classes kind of exist. They're kind of created because of the height differences. But, it's besides the point. I digress. Here's the thing. I have to pick on this. I don't have a choice because the guy came to my channel bragging about how he was stronger than me. Deadlifts 400 pounds. Now, was it really 400 pounds? We don't know. It was in his mom's basement. A rich guy like this had to do it in his mom's basement. He couldn't go do it in the gym. Hell, who in the hell knows what all those plates weighed that he strapped all over that barbell? I don't know. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You know why? Because it's not impressive. Not impressive at all. And here's what shocks me. This goes back to another point I make, that guys like this are nothing but upper body fluffers. Fluff and pump. Fluff and pump for the upper body. How can he not have the strength to deadlift more than that? The guy does heavy weighted chin-ups. I can't envision a guy who can do weighted chin-ups with what he does who can't deadlift 550. He should have the back strength to easily pull 550 without a belt. Easily. But 400 for a double was hard. He's all out of breath. Where's the conditioning? Strength is another thing. Where's the conditioning? I know guys give me a hard time because of my deviated septum, but guys, I do a lot of cardio. And I can tell you right now, when I do 5 or 6 reps with 500 plus on a deadlift, I'm not out of breath afterwards. My breathing isn't all up. I can talk fine. I can talk normal. You guys see me just set it down a lot of times on camera, just trying to walk off. Not a big deal. Again, this is someone who wants to pretend like he's athletic and a martial artist. He has no conditioning. Zero conditioning. 400-pound deadlift for a double and you're out of breath. No work capacity, no conditioning. I take back what I'd said before. He was going to fight Brandon Carter in the ring. He was going to fight Brandon Carter, and I was all like, Kinobody, he's our great white hope. No, I think Brandon Carter would have cleaned his clock. But I've got to look at it that way. Brandon Carter would have cleaned his clock. At least Brandon does cardio. At least he has some conditioning and he's got longer arms. I don't know about this. More like great white hype. But seriously, 400 for a double. And here's the scary thing. He says, well, I don't do the deadlifts. I'm going to try to build. I might just build it up to 500 pounds. As if a 500-pound deadlift would be as strong as me either. Because here's the thing, guys. That's the beauty of the deadlift. You don't have to train the deadlift to be strong at it. The deadlift finds your weak link. It's not a very technical exercise. It doesn't have a lot of motor unit learning. If you are strong top to bottom, you will have a strong deadlift even if you don't practice it. For example, the first time I ever deadlifted in my life, I pulled 455 the first time I ever tried the exercise. Why? Because I had been doing squats and rows and chin-ups. It built my legs and back and posterior chain enough that I pulled 455 the very first time I ever tried the exercise in my life. Because I had over a year of experience doing other lifts. And if you have been lifting for at least a year and you've built your legs and back up, deadlifting over 400 pounds shouldn't be a problem for you after you've been training a year. It really shouldn't be, not as a healthy young man. And that's the thing here, guys. I have novices pulling 400 for reps at the first year of training. This guy's been training 8, 9, 10 years. Claims to be athletic. he can't deadlift 450, 500 just walking in. This is a problem. Lazy training. And what it comes down to is because he doesn't train legs. He doesn't train legs. He does not have the posterior chain strength to deadlift even a remotely respectable amount. And people are saying, well, he weighs well, that's why he weighs 180. He has chicken legs. He doesn't train his legs. Doesn't train his legs. And his one-legged Bulgarian squats are not equal to like a 400 squat. He can probably squat 300 pounds. All right? And because he squats 300 pounds, that's why he can only deadlift 400. And that was the thing that was the funniest thing. It's like you get people who've been watching my high volume work sets lately. Keeping in mind, guys, I just returned to squatting. That was my first month squatting again, doing 9 and 10 sets. I haven't filmed in a couple months. I really hope when people are saying, well, he would out Wilks you at 180 versus your 220. No, I don't think so. Because he's like a 300, 320 pound squatter and a 400 deadlifter. I don't think so, guys. I really and truly hope people out there don't think I only squat like 400. That if I were to spend a couple weeks peaking to a max, that it would be like 400. Nuh-uh. I can rep 400 for reps. All right, I can do work sets with 400, with 405. It's not my max. And the same thing with the deadlift, guys. I don't have a 500-pound deadlift. You guys have seen me do 500 for 7 with no grinders. This week, I think my highest work set, I did 525 for my work set, my reps, and I left a couple reps in the tank. I'm not a 500-pound deadlifter or a 400-pound squatter, so when people want to throw that math in, you might want to re-estimate what you think my maxes would be. Yeah, they're going to be a bit higher than that. In other words, I could bench press the empty barbell and beat him at a powerlifting meet. Okay? I could bench press the empty barbell and still win. Because you have to bench the empty bar minimum or you get disqualified. So, again, this is someone, he wants to come over and he wants to pretend like he's an athlete instead of a spoiled rich kid who doesn't compete in anything. Spoiled rich kid. Doesn't know anything about hard work. And that's the thing, he has no conditioning either. He doesn't know how to train with the intermittent fasting because all he has is upper body. He's weak. He has no leg strength, no lower body strength at all. I think Kinobody needs to go reread Martin Berkham's stuff that he plagiarized. All that lean body stuff, he probably needs to reread it because you're getting the training timing wrong. You're out of shape. You're not conditioned. You have no strength. You're not athletic. And that's coming from me. That's coming from me. Because a lot of people try to say the same about me, but I do cardio every day. I do GPP work. I do high volume training. I do high volume squatting. I deadlift well over 500 pounds for work sets every single week. I might not be ripped, but I'm in better shape, and I'm an old man. Again, this is an example of a rich kid who has all the free time in the world. He doesn't have to work a job. Same thing people talk about with me because I make a living off YouTube. Doesn't have to work a job. Has all the money in the world to hire the best coaches and trainers, has a decade of training experience and walks in and deadlifts 400. I'm sorry, even if he deadlifted 500, that wouldn't be acceptable. That would be totally unacceptable for his level of training experience, the access to any food that he wants, unlimited diet, unlimited access to coaching. A 500 deadlift wouldn't be good. That still wouldn't be good. And that's the other thing you got to remember. You don't start with a 400 deadlift and just train up to a 500 if you don't train legs. He's going to actually have to build his legs up to deadlift 500. All right, you don't have to train the deadlift to have a strong deadlift. If you guys recall, I did that back, even went on YouTube before I got back into training. Had to spend time away from being sick, started documenting my training, and got my deadlift over 500 again in less than a year, walking into a gym after relearning to walk again. I took 9 or 10 months off from the deadlift and just did squats and rows. My very first training session back, I pulled 525 without having done the lift in 9 months, not a single deadlift. Let that sink in. You do not have to train the deadlift to get stronger at the deadlift. Every coach knows this. It helps. It helps. Because I pulled 540 something like 8 or 9 days later. So it went up 15 pounds by doing a couple deadlift sessions. But you don't have to train the deadlift to do the deadlift. In fact, you don't have to train the deadlift at all to get over a 500-pound deadlift. If you have well-developed strength from your traps to your hamstrings and everything in between, you should be able to deadlift 500 pounds as a healthy young man with minimal training on the exercise. And that's the problem. He doesn't have well-developed musculature. He's an upper body fluffer. That's it. No strength outside of that. Outside of pressing and chin-ups, he has no strength. He has no athleticism, no conditioning. And he's not an athlete. He's not an athlete. It's all show and no go. But you know what? I guess that sells today. You know, we talk about style over substance. That's what he sells. He sells style. He sells Lamborghinis. He sells, I got hot chicks laying on a Lamborghini. I got abs and biceps. But he has no substance. Nothing of value to offer, and he has no performance. And I'm sorry, but someone who's been training that long and does all these weighted chin-ups and stuff to come in and deadlift 400 pounds for a double and to be winded after doing so is a horrific performance. Totally unacceptable, and my opinion doesn't change at all. If anything, my opinion is even worse now of him. I really didn't think he was that weak. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.